Right. So motivation, emotion, relatively simple concepts. Lots of theories about motivation because there is debate about what it means. Um, Emotion, there is debate because we're not sure about how the processing takes place. So those are the two dilemmas. That's why there are so many theories. None of them are the best theories, right? None of them are absolutely perfect. So we make do with what we have. Motivation is defined as the process that influences the decision, persistence, and vigor of goal directed behavior. So it's about behaving in certain ways to reach a particular objective and having some kind of direction and consistency to continue doing that work, right? So motivation is used in many different ways. That you're motivated to eat because you're hungry, you're motivated to sleep because you're tired, you're motivated to go to the gym because you may want a better body, right? You may want to lose weight, you're motivated to go to work because you earn money from it, XYZ. So there are lots of reasons why you got motivated, but basically the idea is that you're persisting with the goal, right? Initially, it was believed that instincts motivated behavior, right? So that was what Freud and what we discussed with Freud, where he said that instincts are drives, they create drives which then motivate people, right? An instinct is anytime when there is homeostasis that is not there, right? But later we realized that no, there are other things. There are intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, which is internally rewarding behavior, which is intrinsic motivation, and extrinsic motivation is externally rewarding behavior, right? Instinct, on the other hand, is supposed to be inherent. It's supposed to be an innate characteristics, but it's not very well explainable because you don't know where instinct emerges from, what it is exactly, right? So these are the basic questions or concepts. The first real theory after Freud was by Walter Cannon, right? He gave us the idea of homeostasis, where he said that there needs to, physiologically a human being needs to be in a state of balance, right? And anytime that balance is sort of broken up, they will have needs and they'll want to sort of come back to homeostasis. Then Clark Hull gave us the idea of the drive, where he said that when homeostasis is disrupted, then needs arise, which are then you have drives to sort of satisfy the need and come back to a homeostatic state, right? So drives are states that motivate an organism to reduce the tension and regain equilibrium. Therefore, it is to fulfill a need. Now, there are primary and secondary drives. Primary drives are things that are necessary for survival, so eating, sleeping, drinking water, uh, sex to an extent, right? These are all important for survival. And secondary drives are things that we need generally in daily life and that are product of experience and conditioning. So the need to earn money or the need to have a better body or need to seem attractive, all of these are secondary drives. These are not related to survival, right? It doesn't do us any good or anything if you are trying to, those are not related to survival. So they're not primary drives. Then came the expectancy into value theory, right? This was given to us by Edward Tolman. Um, Very simple theory. It's basically saying that a person's motivation will depend on how they weigh expectancy of reward or expectation and the value of what they're doing, right? If they multiply that and the value proposition makes sense, if both are valuable, if the expectancy is high and the value that they place on the goal is high, if they multiply, then there is higher motivation. If the strength of expectation is low, value is high, then there'll be lower expectation, right? So think of it like uh, multiplication. If you have higher numbers, the resultant product will be higher. If you have lower numbers, the resultant product will be lower, right? So for example, if somebody joins a company and their expectation is to gets a 20 lakh salary, right? So strength of expectation is high, expectancy is high, right? But then the value they place on the job that they're doing is that they don't really care, right? So the value is very low. So when that gets multiplied, the motivation levels will be lesser in comparison to somebody who's getting like half that salary but placing a lot of value on the work that they're doing, right? So that multiplication will create more motivation. So that was the idea given to us by Tolman, right, about motivation. Then you had Freud. Freud's idea was in terms of sexual energy, hidden aggressive impulses, and the dual instinct model of Eros and Thanatos, right? Where you have drives, where you have instincts which create drives, which then motivate you to fulfill those drives to attain homeostasis. Sexual energy and aggressive energy were the two unconscious forces that had the highest amount of drive and motivator as for any goal directed behavior, right? Straightforward again.